Hi, I'm Dyanne Wilson, an Ottawa-based documentary photographer focusing on the relationship between nature and the built environment, while exploring themes of memories, time, and place. Henri Cartier-Bresson once said that photographers deal in things which are continually vanishing, and once they have vanished, there's no contrivance on earth which can make them come back again. And I want only to capture a minute part of reality. This quote really resonates with me because I'm so aware of the impermanence of everything. Growing up in a military family, change was inevitable. We moved every 2 to 3 years. Ottawa was always home base, but in between, we would be posted to Halifax, Gander, Churchill, and Inuvik. I spent much of my childhood in the northern Canada around the 60th parallel. Canadian landscapes, remote communities, and winter are the foundations of my memories and appear often in my work. Generally, I prefer the found over the staged, and I like to explore the place where I find myself in an attempt to find stillness, beauty, and meaning. I like for my photographs to look as real as possible with a poetic approach. I photograph using a medium format digital camera, both for the ease of documenting reality and for the resulting image quality. I enjoy crafting a story through my photography. I've always had a love of winter and am a bit of an adventurer at heart. My mother had me on skates when I was 2 years old. Her sister, my Aunt Madeline, was a figure skater with the Hollywood Ice Review and later ran the City of Ottawa's program for skating. So I had some early lessons. I would eventually earn my gold level in dance in figure skating. My mother also introduced us to downhill skiing at an early age and taught us to respect Mother Nature. This doesn't explain why I would, in later years, take up skydiving as a sport. What does explain this is my attraction to struggle and resilience. Even though as a single mom I was raising 2 young boys on my own, my day job as a secretary did not provide much challenge. My dad taught us that that which doesn't kill you would make you stronger, so struggle seems to be a theme in my life and reflected in my photographs. My father was also a photographer. He took it up before the war started, and together with a senior officer continued making photographs during the war. We grew up looking at Dad's slideshows and movies throughout the years. He would document his travels and our life as a family. My mother used to enjoy making family albums. Photography for me is kind of twofold. It's in a strange way my attempt to preserve people, places, and moments in time, and somehow bring something tangible from the past forward. It's also about exploring the place I'm at, literally and metaphorically. I'm grateful that my father left behind all of his photographs for me to rediscover now that he has passed away. It's incredible to me that through his photographs and his memoir, I get to see and experience a little of what it must have been like during the Battle of the Atlantic in World War II. Which brings me to my year-end project, which I'm calling A Quiet War. Bill Gates said, just as World War II was the defining event of our parents' generation, the COVID-19 pandemic that we are living through right now will define ours. It's a quiet war. The enemy, a small microscopic virus that in just 1 year has infected over 100 million people worldwide. While not nearly on the same scale as World War II with 60 million dead and many cities left in rubble, today's COVID-19 casualties, those who are sick and those who have died, are hardly visible to the rest of us. Unlike the Second World War, when men were called to the front and women to the munitions factories, we are being asked to stay at home. Military generals have since been deployed to ensure COVID-19 vaccines make their way into the arms of millions of Canadians who want one. In 1943, my dad served aboard HMCS Rostern, a Royal Canadian Navy Flower-class corvette during World War II. Its role was to accompany merchant ships across the Atlantic Ocean while dodging enemy submarines and torpedoes. Dad would transcribe Morse code messages from headquarters in Ottawa. often being alerted to where the submarine wolf packs were waiting and hiding. Although conditions at sea were less than ideal, he took up photography and processed his photos in a bathtub when they weren't being torpedoed. Being the daughter of a military captain, we were taught that which doesn't kill you would make you stronger. Keep your chin up and count your blessings. But during this pandemic, we are not ducking from bombs, and there is no obvious destruction. There are no enemy lines, and the virus can strike anyone, anywhere. There is a lack of imagery coming from the hospitals for obvious reasons. The worst part for me is the cabin fever from not being permitted to go anywhere and the feeling of being disconnected from loved ones and friends. I'm realizing the limitations of virtual connection and worry that once we all crawl into this virtual reality, will we ever come out? For the past year, I've essentially battened down the hatches by staying close to home and exploring our new community in Richmond, Ontario. I would sometimes go out in the early morning or in the late evening when darkness was imminent, and my feelings of isolation and disconnection would be amplified. With the vaccine rollout underway, there is reason for hope. However, new and more contagious variants of the virus are complicating matters a bit. For the time being, we will have to stay the course. As Winston Churchill once said, it's not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. So if you'd like to see more of my work, I invite you to my website at DyanneWilson.com, and Dyanne is spelled with a Y. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Dyanne.Wilson. Thank you.